Hi, I will tell you about the tool using which I work first and then about the polishing itself. All the time codes I leave in the comments. For polishing, I use Dremel 4000, and actually this is a chic universal tool. I got it as a New Year present in 2012. For you to understand, I went to school that time, and I really wanted to make wood engraving. And here you can see what I made back then. No one from my friends knew what Dremel was, and they believed that I wanted a drill for the new year. Eventually, I did very little wood engraving, but further, this tool came in handy in many projects, and now it is irreplaceable for me. There is a flexible shaft, which is more comfortable to use, because the basic shaft makes your wrist hurt, it's heavy, and if you hold it as a pen, it puts a lot of pressure on your wrist. There are a lot of different bits and thingamabobs as original as from AliExpress. For example, these are from Ali, but the quality is obviously worse than the original Dremel bits. 3000 Dremel was sent to me in this box to make a review on it. There is a special bit to make circles, and this cool thing is meant for those who want to make resin art, because you can easily make wood circles of different diameters out of plywood. The box with the bits looks like this, and just to mention, always check what is in the set of the tool you buy, because there are different sets, so the price may vary. Very logical. By the way, these wheels I also bought on AliExpress, because there are no such Dremel wheels. There is such a cutting wheel for wood, but it's quite wide and I have already abraded it a lot. In fact, it really needs to be thrown away already. These are easy to run out of, but they are very thin and suitable for my work. In 3000 set, there is also a flexible shaft, the instruction, and let's compare it with 4000 Dremel. 3K is smaller and more lightweight. They are switched on differently. The 3K immediately sets speed from 2 to 10,000 revolutions. And speaking about the larger model, it has a separate power button and a wheel for setting revs from 5 to 35,000. But I usually work with 15 to 20 revolutions, and I'm afraid to switch higher. By the way, I don't like exactly this moment in the 3K, but perhaps it is just a matter of habit, because on my tool I got used to switching off. I switch it off and that's it. There are no options which way to switch it off, and here I wanted to do so, but instead I switched it to 10,000 revolutions and it was like in my hand. I was so scared, but again, if you initially work with 3000 model, it is quite possible that you will perfectly know which way to switch it off, and I did so unconsciously, as I was used to working with my tool. I have a video which I made in December, and if I'm not mistaken, I have to find it in Instagram archive because I left there a short scene of it, and which I still can't voice, and in general, in that video, my resin was spilled on my work and it stuck to pallets. Well, I managed to unstick it, and the second one actually stuck very well. Okay then, I will work with the first one. Such bits from the manufacturer are inconvenient for polishing of flat surfaces. They are attached this way to the center, and this is what I mean saying inconvenient. That's why I've bought this bit for polishing. There are big bits for an electric screwdriver, and these are suitable for engravers. And the sandpaper itself of different grit, which can be attached to the circle. During the polishing of a resin thing, it is very important to use the means of protection of your eyes and airways. It is also recommended to use water, because it minimizes the amount of dust, plus your works do not overheat from sandpaper rubbing. Using the coarse sandpaper, I remove the main part with this piece of wood. And now you can see why it is important to wear glasses. This water with epoxy dust would easily get into my eyes. I leveled the surface, but I can somehow show it to you using my camera. It seems like I have forgotten how to shoot, but it should be clearly visible if you watch the shots from my phone. I changed this sandpaper to the finer one. I take 600, 800, 1000, 1500, 2000 and 2500. They say if you gradually change sandpaper into the finest one you have, you can achieve the perfect glossy result. But you'll definitely need to final it with your varnish. And at the same time, someone of my friends said that you should do 600, 1000, 2000 and 500 roughly speaking. They do not do this gradual change using lots of sandpapers, and the result is also quite good. I haven't tried to do these huge steps because I think that if you do some polishing, if you get down to polishing, you must polish well. You may have a question whether I'm afraid for my fingers. No. Specifically in this case, I've never been hurt by it, fingers just bounces off the disc at once. Although I nearly ruined the manicure once, yet still nothing has happened with my fingertips. Everyone is responsible for their own safety. That's why, working with this or that tool, for instance, Dremel or anything else, please always be careful, remember about the risks. You should polish on low speed, otherwise your works might be damaged. I finally put the last sandpaper and yeah, don't forget to periodically dip your work into water. See how much dust there is? And here is my result. You probably can't really see it properly again, so I'll show you the final result. In the end, your work needs polishing. I take this polishing sponge, it's probably meant for headlights, and the polish, which is definitely for headlights. You need just a little of polish, its consumption is very small. Not this drop, this is too much. Such amount of polish will scatter in all directions because of the centrifugal force. I tried to remove the excess, but it was too difficult, that's why I decided to rub it in the sponge. But it didn't save me. I mean, my glasses saved me, and the camera needed a proper wash. I rub it till it's glossy, and voila! Maybe you wonder why Dremel instead of a screwdriver, and what if you have none of them? If you have a desire or a possibility, what is better to buy? A screwdriver is a screwdriver, a useful thing, but Dremel is a multifunctional tool which can cut any material and drill a hole in any material. It can be a graver and a milling cutter, and it can perform many different functions. It depends on the bits you have. I mean, due to the possibility to use different revolutions, due to the wide range of bits, a graver, almost any graver, not only Dremel, a tiny drill can help not only in art, but it can be useful in your everyday life as one universal tool. I wouldn't recommend buying this or that graver on AliExpress, because it is not just a phone case and not a phone itself, and not some kind of material for art. This is a serious tool, which can also be really dangerous. And if we should take such situations into account, during your work with an instrument, anything might happen during your work with the instrument because of the manufacturer's fail. I mean, if you follow the safety rules, if you take care of your tool, because if it is dirty, the dust caused by work might get inside the tool, and this dust may ruin the work of your mechanism. And if something happens, whom will you make a complaint if you've bought it on AliExpress? But this is just my opinion, the decision rests with you. Do what you believe is right. Dremel or a manicure machine? Both of them can spin. Both of them have bits, and the price sometimes doesn't even differ. Here you should pay attention to power which you need, I mean the number of revolutions. It depends on what you want to do, like to remove a coating or to sew, maybe both, because you can sew on low revolutions, but it will be much slower. I think I should delve deeply into this. I wasn't really interested in this issue yet. whether the bits for engravers are suitable for the diameter of bits, which are almost like the tools for manicure drills. Though, I think so, yeah, but pay attention to it anyway if you'd like to buy this particularly manicure drill. Dremel, by the way, has a small graver. It is literally like a pen. To my mind, it is even called like this. And I would really like to try it, to be able to tell you about it, because in our case, who do such art, this is a most optimal tool. I would really like to try it. I haven't seen it yet in real life. Using it, it will be possible to drill holes in your bijouterie for pins, and polish it, and maybe even cut something off or just slip. Can you polish manually without any tools? Yes. I've been doing so for a while by myself, but it just takes more of your time. For this you will need the same sandpaper. I bought mine in Leroy Merlin, but I think it is available in any hardware store. And just the same way as before, you take water, sit down, and just back and forth using the sandpaper, changing it from fine to coarse. And don't forget about water. And you must, it is really a must to use respiratory protection. I've never tried to make a sphere, and I'm not really looking forward to making it, because, first, there are many masters who are really good at this, and secondly, polish it manually? I don't understand, maybe because I've never tried so, and this is a vicious circle. It just blows my mind how it is possible to make such ideal spheres manually. It seems to me that to do so you need so much force and hard work. I believe all I wanted to say I've just said. In fact, I've never deepened my knowledge in polishing works of art, because I don't like this messy and dreary process. I always try to avoid it. This is one of the reasons, the main reason, why I've been delaying this video for so long. Write down in the comments how you polish. If you do, it is likely that there are many different ways to do so simpler than I did. I just don't know how, because I can't know everything, and we're here to share our experience. That's why it is quite possible that one of you can help me for some of the future projects. I hope this video was interesting and useful for you, and I love you this much. Bye!